Another night of riots in LA. Looters have taken over blocks downtown. Everything from Apple stores to sushi joints ransacked.
What a
Because
mess.
you need a new iPhone and a spicy tuna roll to fight ICE.
Exactly. What
This is
the?
so ridiculous. Doesn't look like this is for they're protesting for ICE or anything. This is they're doing just for the looting the stores and everything. I saw they break into the Apple store.
Crazy. Very crazy, very sad, very terrible. People are stupid. People are stupid.
She's right.
You know, I'm not a big guy. I'm not a big fish.
A crowd that claims they're fighting for immigrants' rights is looting stores owned by immigrants and spray
Amazing.
painting death to America. What's their cause again?
It's true. The lady that said people are stupid. Whenever you are angry, whenever you identify with your emotions, you're gonna do stupid things. So she's right when she said people are stupid. And you're fighting for the rights for illegal immigrants. By the way, that they come in the country illegally. You're fighting for them, and yet you're stealing from the people that are actually legal immigrants in the country trying to make a way for themselves, because clearly America is a better country than your country, because if not, you would be in your country that Mexico that you're fighting for. You're waving their flag and no American flag, which is crazy to me. Makes no sense, because you're in a country that's giving you the ability to make a way, which your country that you're fighting for can't give it to you. And you're here destroying something that is good to you. What do you think is going to happen? Huh? Really? Come on, man.
Liberals realized waving Mexican flags was a bad look, so they started passing out American flags, saying, wave these flags instead. It's better optics. And the crowd said thanks and took the American flags and burned them.
Amazing.
One of the guys organizing these riots said this is war.
This weekend was marked with absolute and total violence, brutal repression, and attacks, coordinated attacks against our community. For us as indigenous people to these lands, to this continent, this is nothing new. The military going after us is nothing new. We don't advocate for violence, but when they use brutal violence against our people and kidnapping of mothers and fathers from children is violent. When they do things like that, we have every right, every historic right to defend our communities by any ways that we can, and we're going to continue to do so.
That's crazy. Buddy, they come in, no matter if they come in the country illegally, you come in the country illegally and you're going to say you have rights to defend these people and defend their rights when they have no documentation to be in the country. And you're saying they're kidnapping them from their children. Buddy, they came in the country illegally. What is this guy even talking about? So if they come in the country illegally and they're kidnapping the parents and father from the kids, well, put the kids with them and send them back where they come from. That would solve the issue, wouldn't it not? Would it not? Like, this is just crazy what this guy is saying, man. And he's being controlled. He's being controlled by the children of the lies, and he doesn't even see it. A bigger evil and a bigger spirit of evil is controlling the smaller minions of evil. You know, you ever watch the Minions? You know, you have the small yellow things, and then you have Gru, the bigger one, controlling the little one, telling them what to do. This is this guy being controlled by the bigger evil spirits, the people that wants power. This guy is crazy. What the?
So guess what side the Democrats are on?
Let me be clear. Congressional Democrats stand in full solidarity with the residents
Of course you
Los
do.
Angeles,
Of course.
with our immigrant sisters and brothers, and with the peaceful protesters who dare to speak out and who will support every effort to oppose this president's abuse of power.
Buddy out here supporting illegal immigrants, calling them legal immigrants. That's crazy.
Democrats are telling cops to stand down and rioters to stand up. LA Mayor Karen Bass says the riots will stop once the ICE raids stop.
What the?
I would say stop the raids. Stop the raids, period. I would say give the power back to our governor, and if we need the National Guard, we can do it in their normal circumstances, which is the request is made local and the governor decides or not to grant that to our city.
We're getting it.
That's crazy. The same people that have power when LA and California was burning down, they didn't do anything about it. That's crazy. They weren't even prepared for it. You think they're gonna stop a riot?
The hostage crisis, but she's threatening to burn her own city down.
That's crazy.
Trump, not a guy who likes being extorted.
Mr. President, these protests obviously started in reaction to these large-scale ICE operations in Los Angeles. Should people expect to see similar operations in the rest of the country? And will similar protests see similar responses?
Oh yeah, it's happening all over the country now.
Murderers out of our country that were put here by
Amazing.
Biden or the auto pen.
Oh yeah, oh
The
yeah.
auto pen really did it. We're not going to let them stay. And this is the first, perhaps, of many, or perhaps, if we didn't attack this one very strongly, you'd have them all over the country. But I can inform the rest of the country that when they do it, if they do it, they're going to be met with equal or greater force than we met right here.
LA mob is fired up because Democrats called ICE Nazis and the Gestapo. And now they're calling them slave catchers.
This
What
reminds
the-
me historically of it's not a clear analogy, but when the nation, when these political factions divided the nation between slave holders and slave catchers, with ICE running around LA, forcing people to make choices where they protect their friends, their neighbors, their family members.
That makes Barack Obama the biggest slave catcher in America because he had Tom Homan rounding up a record number of illegals.
Isn't that crazy that these people, the blacks, they always run to slavery, that it doesn't exist now, but they keep holding on to it, and they're trying to use it to guilt trip people into letting this crazy protest happen in LA and all over America, just because Trump is cleaning up the country with the illegals, alien that the Biden administration let come in the country undocumented because they want to stay in power and keep power. Isn't that crazy? Doesn't that speak to these people? Doesn't that wake you up to be like, what is really happening in this country? That's crazy.
So after lying to us, extorting us, and then calling us Nazi slave owners, Democrats are covering up the riots like Biden's brain.
It's no different than when a team wins a national championship and people get overexcited and they overturn vehicles and light them on fire. Local law enforcement is prepared to handle those types of situations. Marines and National Guardsmen are not.
Yeah, Dodgers fans went a little nuts when they beat the Yankees, but this is a 5-day riot. Pelosi said cut them some slack. People are just feeling a little exuberant.
When there is a large gathering of people, the anarchists see it as an opportunity and they move in. So always have to be careful whether you see a burned car, a broken window, or whatever it is. It may be the exuberance of the moment, but it may be the anarchist setting in.
Stelter says don't be confused by what you watch. The violence could be from 2 hours ago.
You gotta be careful at a delicate moment like this to look at the timestamps, look at the dates, look at when things are actually posted, and if they're really from the situation they're purporting to be. A lot of these algorithms are servicing hours old,
it's crazy.
days old content. So you might be looking at a video of something, wondering what's happening in LA. It's actually from 2 days ago. And that's, it only matters because it can give people a false impression of what's actually happening at a moment of unrest.
Bro, what is this guy talking about? Wasn't this started like on Friday or something like that? Last Friday, and it's still going on? This bro is whack. He's quackadoodle.
Where would we be
What
without
the?
Stelter? To explain the concept of time. The riot started on Friday.
Yeah.
And today is Tuesday.
It's still going on. What a mess.
LA County Police say you should believe your own eyes.
Every single police officer and deputy sheriff right now wants this to end. Unfortunately, the governor of California is 100% adding fuel to the flames. His rhetoric is one thing. What he says is one thing. What he does is another. He is absolutely part of the problem that we're seeing here. And so there is a lack of cooperation with the state of California and local officials.
Gavin could have called up the guard Friday night and could have stopped the violence and saved millions of dollars in damages. But we're now on our 5th day of mayhem, and Newsom suing Trump to send the Guard home. They're telling the National Guard to disobey orders.
The legal provision Donald Trump is relying on to deploy the National Guard under 10 U.S.C. Section 12406, he is violating law because that provision very clearly says that the governors of the states have to give the order.
No, they don't. What is this guy talking about? This guy's crazy.
I ask every National Guard member to read their orders, read the law, and then decide for themselves if they're following.
Ted Lieu's a lawyer, and he doesn't know what the law is.
What a mess.
Mobilized the Guard and overruled governors before.
Yes.
Washington did it for the Whiskey Rebellion. Grant sent federal forces to South Carolina to stop the Klan from preying on blacks. Eisenhower used the 101st Airborne in Little Rock when the Democrat governor there was fighting desegregation, and Kennedy put down segregationist rallies in Mississippi. Trump's just wielding the power that the country gave him in a landslide.
Mm-hmm.
He swept the
Thank God for
won the
Trump.
popular vote and moved almost every county in the country to the right, including L.A. County. And he's not the one who mandated
Bringing
vaccines
back order.
and censored you and prosecuted his rivals. And
Look at them
disobeyed
looting.
courts.
That's
That was
crazy.
all that. Democrats can't control the narrative anymore. Trump's not a dictator, and these riots are violent. They said no one's above the law. Remember that? But they let illegals break into the country and then hide them in their cities and then attack ICE when they move in to do their job.
Mm-hmm.
These riots are getting no cultural traction. None.
Amazing.
No one's posting Mexican flags on Instagram. No one's taking a knee with a sombrero. Companies aren't being blackmailed into donating millions to an open borders charity. It's not happening like BLM, remember?
The great
These LA
BLM.
riots make January 6th look like a picnic. And Karen and Gavin couldn't stop fires, clean up the homeless, fight crime, or shut down the virus. What makes you think they'd shut down this riot?
That's very true. I can't. People vote these people in, but I understand that they're still sleeping. They're sleeping. These people are just out for power. That's all they want, and they keep you asleep by using the anger that's in you. I've already mentioned this, man. Bigger spirits, evil spirit control the smaller minions of spirit. That's crazy.
Is the real reason they're fighting ICE this hard because the more migrants they deport from California, the less congressional seats the state gets? Remember, the census
All
counts
for
people,
power.
not citizens. So they're burning
All
down
for
their
fake
own
power,
city
man.
to maintain political
It's not
power.
even real power.
If they're capable of that, they're capable of anything.
Mm-hmm.